If your voice goes higher, it does help.
I want to know if you, what was your favorite bedtime story when you were a kid?
My favorite bedtime story?
Yes.
Interesting question. I don't remember ever being read a bedtime story when I was a kid. I don't remember being read a bedtime story, so I don't have one for that. But I'll tell you what I used to like to play when I was a kid. My favorite thing to do, my mom would always make the bed really, 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 really tight. Like tuck the sheets in really tight, right? So my favorite thing to do was to get into bed and lay under the sheet with it so tight, with my arms outside the sheet, my body under, and I would pretend I was a pen in a man's pocket. Really, truly. And so I was that guy. I was like my dude, with the pen parting out, and I would just be, in my mind, existing as the guy who went around and did stuff. I was like, the pen. Seeing the notepads on the desk, that was my little fantasy camp I had on my brain. One time, this is completely a non sequitur, but you guys remember, I don't even know if it will make sense in Italy, but do you guys remember Ernest? Old 1980s, Ernest was a camp and a bunch of goofy movies, and he was this big redneck comic, essentially, in the States. And he had this bit he did on a local TV show when I was a kid that was him. He did this like a special. He did these sketches. And one of the sketches was, he was this redneck, which is what he always played, and he had a son named Mistake. It was a very dark bit. And his son was huge. His son was essentially played by Mark Shepard. And it wasn't a boy, he was supposed to be a kid, but it was a full-grown man. And he'd say, come on, Mistake, let's go to bed. And so there was a scene where Mistake is in bed, and Mistake goes, Daddy, read me a bedtime story. And so I remember thinking, this is so funny. So he says, all right. And he sits down and he grabs the phone book. And he opens the phone book and he says, once there was a boy named Mistake who mashed his fingers and caught on fire and fell off the end of the world. And then the boy goes, that's a good story, Daddy. And I remember thinking that was just so freaking hilarious and bizarre. So, that's my favorite bedtime story. Thank you.